In the year 1939, the world was teetering on the edge of war, and science was advancing at an unprecedented rate. As the crisis unfolded globally, nestled in the heart of the American Midwest, the University of Iowa was humming with academic vigor. Professors and students were deeply engrossed in pioneering research, with disputes reverberating throughout the complex. The enigma of stuttering, a disorder that had baffled scientists for many years, was, at that time, thought to be a neurological issue. The academic community was abuzz with suggesting genetic predisposition, cranial trauma, and even psychological distress as probable causes. Wendell Johnson, a prominent figure in the realm of psychology, was prepared to confront these notions. His eyes reflected his unwavering determination, his avid interest in human behavior driving his commitment to unravel the mysteries concealed in stuttering. His modest upbringing and personal battle with stuttering further fortified his determination. A short drive away from the university, tucked away within the pastoral scenery, sat an orphanage. This was the residence for the subjects of Johnson's impending study. For these children, life revolved around a series of routines: instruction, tasks, and leisure. Their habitual life was about to be upended by an experiment that would significantly affect their existence. The idea of participating in a study elicited a wide range of reactions. Some children welcomed it with an adventurous spirit, while others were filled with nervousness due to the unfamiliarity of the forthcoming experiment. In the days preceding the experiment, Mary Tudor, Johnson's devoted graduate student, visited the orphanage, meticulously observing the children's speech habits and social interactions. The stage was now set for an experiment that would alter the lives of these innocent children forever, challenge the prevailing understanding of stuttering, and question the ethics of scientific research. The tale of the monster study was about to unfold. Under the gloomy skies of an early winter morning, Wendell Johnson and Mary Tudor arrived at the old, dilapidated orphanage. The building, once a majestic mansion, stood proud but somber, echoing the melancholy of the misty morning. As they approached the imposing structure, the whispers of the wind seemed to draw them in, ushering them toward an encounter that would forever mark their lives and the lives of the children residing within the walls of the orphanage. The children had been gathered in a grand hall, a cavernous space that must once have been resplendent but now bore the scars of time and neglect. However, this morning it was abuzz with the muted chatters of young innocent souls, their faces a mosaic of curiosity, apprehension, and confusion. They watched as Johnson and Tudor entered, two strangers who would soon assume a significant role in their lives. Johnson and Tudor exchanged glances, their eyes conveying a whirlpool of feelings, from the fervor of a new scientific pursuit to the anxiety of the unknown consequences. This was the thrilling precipice of discovery they had been fervently preparing for, the commencement of an experiment that promised to challenge the established theories about stuttering and potentially revolutionize the understanding of this speech disorder. Johnson, in his deep, commanding voice, outlined the broad strokes of the experiment to Tudor. He explained how they were going to segregate the children into two distinct groups. One group would be consistently praised for their speech, he said, while the other one would face regular criticism and correction for speaking skills. Tudor nodded, her face a hardened mask of resolve. She echoed the hypothesis, confirming that they anticipated this contrasting feedback to induce stuttering among the latter group of children, essentially creating a speech impediment where one didn't exist before. Johnson affirmed Tudor's understanding with a single, resonating word: exactly, Mary. He went on to underline their belief that stuttering was a learned behavior, not a congenital one, and expressed his hope that this experiment would provide the much-needed empirical evidence to support their theory. Tudor's attention then shifted to the children. She addressed them, explaining the experiment in elementary terms. She explained how they were helping them understand why people stutter and how their participation would contribute to a broader understanding of the phenomenon. With an assuring smile, she told them how special they were and how their courage could make a huge difference in the world. The range of reactions among the children was as diverse as their personalities. Some were visibly excited about the prospect of participating in a real-life experiment, their eyes ablaze with anticipation. Some were apprehensive, their tiny faces clouded with uncertainty, unable to shake off the fear of the unfamiliar. A few appeared indifferent, their youthful minds unable to fully comprehend the gravity of the situation or the implications of their participation. And so began a chapter in the history of psychology that would forever be etched as controversial and ethically controversial. Unbeknownst to the innocent children, their lives were about to be drastically and irrevocably altered. The monster study was about to begin. We journey back to the not-so-distant past, to the year 1939, right at the heartland of the United States, to the renowned University of Iowa. This iconic institution was the setting for what became one of the most contentious, controversial, and thought-provoking psychological investigations to have ever been executed. The episode that history remembers as the Monster Study. The Monster Study, as it came to be known, had its roots in the curiosity and desperation of Wendell Johnson. Johnson was not just a scholar, he was a man burdened with a personal affliction. He had a speech disorder, stuttering, a condition that he wrestled with every single day of his life. Determined to understand the enigma that was stuttering, Johnson formulated a hypothesis. He conjectured that stuttering was not just a biological phenomenon, but was deeply rooted in environmental factors. His desire to test this theory, to decipher and ultimately defeat the speech impediment that he personally grappled with, gave birth to the Monster Study. The experiment designed to test Johnson's hypothesis involved the innocence of 22 orphans. The children were divided into two distinct groups, the normal speakers and the stutterers. Each group was subjected to a unique set of treatments devised and determined based on Johnson's assumptions about the environmental roots of stuttering. These treatments, however, veered into the territory of manipulation, of the environments the children were subjected to, and more significantly, of the children's own self-perceptions. The consequences of the Monster Study were profound, both immediate and far-reaching. The young participants, initially unaware and unsuspecting, soon found themselves enmeshed in an experience that permanently altered their existence. Their identities, already marred by the absence of a familial bond, were further complicated, if not mangled, by the dark shadow cast by the Monster Study. As we delve deeper into the Monster Study, it's crucial to bring to light the personal narratives of the innocent children who were part of this experiment. Their stories, marked by transformation, struggle, and resilience, serve as a vivid illustration of the profound impact of the study. Today we focus on two such children, Hazel Potter and Betty Romp. Hazel Potter was a confident speaker, her words flowed smoothly, and she had a certain charm in her speech. However, her journey through the Monster Study was one of struggle and transformation. As part of the group labeled as stutterers, Hazel was subjected to negative reinforcement and constant criticism. This relentless negativity began to chip away at her confidence, and over time she started to stutter. It was a shocking transformation. A confident speaker turned into a stutterer due to the environmental conditions she was subjected to. Hazel's story is a testament to the power of negative environmental factors and their potential to influence and shape our behaviors and identities. On the other hand, we have Betty Romp, a child who was part of the normal speakers group. Betty's story is marked by improvement and growth. She was subjected to positive reinforcement during the study, a stark contrast to the negative environment that Hazel was exposed to. The constant encouragement and positivity bolstered Betty's confidence, and she showed significant improvement in her speech. Her story is a beacon of hope and resilience, demonstrating the potential of positive environmental factors to foster growth and improvement. The personal narratives of Hazel and Betty serve as a poignant reminder of the human cost of scientific experiments that neglect ethical considerations. Their experiences highlight the profound impact of the environment on our behaviors and identities, a theme at the heart of the Monster Study. As we continue our journey into the heart of the Monster Study, understanding the aftermath that unfolded in the wake of this event becomes critical. First, we turn our attention to Wendell Johnson, the central figure of this alarming saga. Johnson, a reputable psychologist and a stutterer, was propelled by his personal battle with stuttering. This fueled his intense urge to unravel the complexities of this communication disorder. His determination and curiosity led him to navigate the uncharted territory of speech disorders. This quest for knowledge and comprehension eventually culminated into a harrowing experiment, later dubbed the Monster Study. Operating under Johnson's skilled supervision was Mary Tudor, a diligent and resolute student pursuing her graduate studies. Tudor was instrumental in the execution of the monster study. She became the face of the experiment and the confidant of the children involved. Her role was to treat half of the children as stutterers, an approach that had long-lasting and unforeseen consequences. These effects took a toll on the children, leading them to manifest symptoms of stuttering, an outcome Tudor hadn't foreseen. Overwhelmed with remorse and guilt for her unintentional contribution to the children's psychological trauma, was left in despair following the experiment. The unsuspecting subjects of this chilling study were innocent orphan children, segregated into two separate groups, the normal speakers and the stutterers. These children were unwittingly embroiled in an experiment which would result in significant alterations in their lives. The children, once eloquent speakers, were mistakenly labeled and treated as stutterers. The aftermath was horrific. These children started showing signs of stuttering with profound psychological implications and long-lasting effects that marred their futures. In the grand scheme of our narrative, these protagonists each played their roles in a study that profoundly impacted their lives and the realm of psychology. Each of these characters, with their individual stories, became intertwined in a complex mesh of scientific exploration and ethical dilemmas. Their struggles, victories, and regrets add depth and perspective to our understanding of the monster study.